Okay guys, so today it's a Sunday. We're gonna start by doing some IGP training. So we're just training our dogs for the sport. We do some obedience, we do some protection. When the weather's a little nicer, we do some tracking, and that's how we start the day on Sunday. I'm gonna start with my competition dog, Gage. Currently he's titled IGP1. And we're just gonna start by doing some obedience. We're preparing for the upcoming trial season. Like my Franken dumbbell, my Thor's hammer. In our sport, we get judged for a combination of precision, power, and speed. So we need to have all those things present. If you make the dog too correct, then you lose the precision and power. And if you make the dog too fast and powerful, you start to lose the precision. So it's always that balancing game. So what you see in training might not be the final trial picture, and that's the goal. Go. Good boy. Very good. Yeah. That was good though, the second one was fun. So this is Carson and Pharaoh. And I imported Pharaoh the same time as I imported Yaxie. And he's from Vic Glissnick at Vicker Kennel. So he's a really nice young dog, and Carson's making nice work with him. So they're preparing for their IGP career right now. I think they're gonna work on dumbbells today. The ideal dumbbell retrieve is the dog waits patiently next to the handler. The dog goes fast out, takes the dumbbell very firmly in the mouth, 180 degrees around. We don't even want him to take a slightly wider angle, the tightest angle possible, turn around and back to the handler just as fast in as out. Firm, calm grip on the dumbbell, no chewing, no loose grip, firm and calm in front of the handler, nicely presented. Pharaoh's like a 2-year-old working line German Shepherd, for those of you wondering. Both him and Yaxie come from the Czech Republic, but they're certainly not exclusively Czech lines. So anyways, that dog over there is doing a long down, okay? So during the IGP routine of one dog, the obedience, the other dog will be in like a 10-minute long down. So you can see him over there. He's supposed to remain in a down the entire time the other handler's on the field working. So of course we start to show them this picture in training. So coming up next is Joel and Hades. Hades is a dog actually from our breeding program. He's a 2-year-old working live German Shepherd. So we're gonna give Joel maybe a little bit of a hard time while he's training, but it's all in good fun. And you know, hey, that's the environment that we have here. We have no problem giving each other a bit of a hard time when things maybe aren't going the way that we want them to go. Don't out him there. Take him out and play with him a little more. We tend to think very verbally because we're verbal communicators, but dogs aren't so verbal. And you have to understand that for most commands, they're reacting to the first vowel that they hear in the command. So if you think about a sit, it's s, right? When you're practicing a sit in motion, for me, I do a lot of s, right? So I make that sound because then the dog 100% knows it instead of having to hear the whole word like sit, right? So I'll just go sit, right? So he hears that s, and that preps him. He really knows what he's supposed to do. So for me, when I make my stand, I just go shh. So obviously in the trial, I have to give the command, so I will say stay, but he's hearing shh, and he's already reacting when he hears the first vowel. The problem is if you're trying to say the word really fast, a lot of the time the dog doesn't discern the word properly. So if you're like sit, right? Like, unless he's a really experienced dog, he's not gonna pick it up the same way because some words sound a lot similar to other words, right? And that's why you'll see a dog sometimes offering the wrong command. It's not that they're not trying, it's just that they're reacting to a vowel that's very similar, right? So like for instance with Dutch commands, I had a little bit of a problem with one dog because stellen, which means bite, is the same as sit. Well, like they start the same, right? Stellen, sit, right? So sometimes I'd be controlling my dog around the decoy and I would say sit and he would already be going to bite because he heard s, right? And for him s means bite, and obviously if he has to pick between sit and bite, he's picking bite. Remember, don't pull that out of his mouth. We never out by pulling it out of his mouth, and be careful what you're teaching the dog, that when you lift on the collar he should out too. So over there we have Carson's dog Vasco doing the long down, and for those of you that don't know Vasco from the YouTube channel, he's a grumpy old bear. So he's working on just controlling himself a little bit out here. I'm gonna work with my young dog Yaxie. I imported Yaxie from the Czech Republic last year. So we're working towards preparing him for IGP. Oh. Good job, buddy. Good. Good. just come out for a second. I just want a group. I want you guys like super close, like everybody really close. I want you to jostle him. Nice, man. Yeah. Platz. Moose. Joel, this isn't fucking PSA.
Yeah,
No, I said jostle. And you notice, Joel, he still plots better than you're doing. Sit. Oh, man. Wow. Good. Good job, Yasmin. Okay, protection time with Gage. Good. That was really nice one. We're gonna work on some outs with this stuff. The vibrations in the right place, the training goes well. Jeez, that was it right there. That was it. Perfect. Done. The key is good vibrations. Good vibrations. Hand inside, helpless. Good. Good long attack, fast. And the healing is some work in progress, but it's all about those good vibrations. Left forward. So for Vasco, the big thing with him is he's such a strong dog and such an independent dog, not biddable at all. We're just focused on getting Carson through the IGP-1 without the dog going out of control. In his last IGP-1, everything was good leading up to the trial, but unfortunately, he went out of control in the trial, no out, and obviously that's an automatic DQ. So we put a lot of pressure on the dog, and hopefully we're putting enough pressure and the right kind of pressure that we can get him through the trial. So it's not pretty. There's a lot of little things he's doing, but he's not shooting to, compete at the top level with this dog. This is such a strong dog. He's just shooting to get the one, kind of cross it off the bucket list, and then move on with his other competition dog. But that's okay. For a dog like this, he's 7 years old. We're just trying to get him through a one and get him to successfully pass it. weird line and just randomly threw sit at him. Set it up. Go take a basic. Okay, we're doing sits now. Let's walk on the basic. Let's make our sit. So you can say whatever, but your dog doesn't lie.
I don't do this for a living training. My first fucking dog.
Oh!
Bro, I worked 72 hours.
Okay.
72 hours.
72 hours a day.
I didn't even leave.